what is up? Welcome to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Ashlee. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my wedding day look. This is the exact look that I wore on my wedding day. I got married on the 25th of October 2019, so I wanted to share this look with you for any brides that are coming up in 2020, especially because in Australia we're still in those hot months, and I know that all of my American friends will be moving into kind of spring and summer shortly. So if you're wanting to practice some makeup looks, if you're planning on doing it yourself, I thought this look might be great for you. Now, my wedding day was bloody hot. It was 38 degrees Celsius. It was humid. It was windy. So it was a test for your makeup, that is for sure. Now, I have really oily skin at the best of times, and I'm a very sweaty person. So I needed something that was going to last really well throughout the day. I did not want to be worrying about doing touch-ups. Like, that's the last thing that I wanted to be worrying about is touch-ups. This makeup was Budge proof. I was so happy with the way it wore throughout the day. My skin got a tiny little bit of a glow to it. It was a natural glow. It wasn't like, ew, gross, greasy mess, and I didn't touch up once, and it still looked really great at the end of the night. So I was so impressed with how it turned out. I did have to swap out a few products and add a few products in that I didn't use on the day, just because I had a fake tan on the day and I don't have one on at the moment. So foundation and things was a little bit darker, so just keep that in mind. Also, my brows that I used the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade on the actual day. Today I just used a pencil. I've run out of my dip brow, so it's on my list of things to get, but we're making do with what we've got. So if you have really oily skin and are getting married soon where it's going to be like really hot, dry and humid, then this could be the makeup look for you. Now, for my makeup, I knew I wanted to go like glam, but I didn't want to go like too over the top, so it's kind of like a soft glam. I wanted it to be natural-esque, but not like super barely there makeup, just because I wear quite a heavy makeup on the day today. So I knew if I went like super natural, then like I just would not look like myself. So I wanted something that was still like a little va-va-voom, but like not crazy. So this is a look that I came up with. Something really neutral on the eyes, a little pop of shimmery bronzy on the lid, and just like a neutral lip color. I had so many compliments on my makeup throughout the day, so I was really impressed with how well it lasted and held up. So if you want to see how to get this makeup look, I'm going to also pop in a few of my wedding pictures, so you guys can check those out throughout the video, so you can actually see how the makeup looked on the actual day and see how it held up throughout the day as well. So before we go any further, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. It means the world to me. And give this video a like, thumbs up if you're getting married in 2020. So excited for you all, and I hope that this tutorial helps you out. So let's go. So starting off the wedding look, I'm using my Nars. This is the Smudge proof eyeshadow base. It's in the shade Light. I definitely recommend starting off with eyes first on the big day, and using a base that has a bit of a color to it, just to make sure that you blanket out any of the veins or redness or discoloration on your eyelids. We are using the Jaclyn Hill Original palette for today's look. It is what I used on my wedding day. It is such a good wedding day palette. So for the first color in our crease, I'm going to be taking the shade MFEO, and I'm going to be blending that in throughout my crease using a large blending brush. So I'm just going to be blending this in throughout my crease. I'm really blowing it out to smoke it up towards the eyebrow. Next up, I'm taking the shades Puder and Butter, and I'm just going to be using a slightly more tapered blending brush, but I'm just going to begin to place this more directly in throughout the crease. For the first shade, we kind of blew it out towards the brow bone. This one, I'm just going to focus it a little bit further down towards the crease. I'm just going to be using little kind of stamping patting motions to begin with, and then I'm going to go in and use little blending motions. So guys, I don't know where the clip went of me showing you the shades that I use, but it was a combination of chip and mocha, and I'm just using again those kind of pressing motions to pack on the color, in basically focusing on the outer crease and then slightly blending in to the towards the inner portion of the eye. I want to keep the most depth and dimension and like darkness of the shadow on the outer corner, so it's kind of that smoked out kind of look, but I do want to have a little bit of this color focused into the crease, just so I have a nice kind of contrast when I do cut the crease later. And then I do go in with that little bit of combination of butter and puder just to blend out the edges to make sure that there's no harsh lines. And then I do go in again with a little bit more of MFEO just to blend out the edges. Next up, to further deepen out the outer corner, I'm taking a combination of Central Park and Soda Pop, and I'm just going to begin to press those two shades, just focusing in the outer corner and then blending along the lash line a little bit and into the outer crease in kind of like a V kind of C shape, just to add a little bit more depth and dimension without going in with a super harsh black. And then back in again with MFEO to buff out the edges to make sure there is no harsh lines. So next up, guys, we are, I guess, cutting the crease. I'm not cutting it in the way that you would use like a concealer or a P. Louise like base. I'm using this Smolder Potion. It's a liquid and it is like glue for any loose eyeshadows. If you mix your loose eyeshadows in with this, it makes it super metallic and it's not going anywhere. This will last all day. It is totally crease proof when it dries, and the shadow that I'm using with it is the Napoleon Perdis Loose Eye Dust. This is in the shade Starlight. It is a beautiful champagne-y bronzy loose eyeshadow. So what I do is I put a few drops of the Smolder liquid onto the back of my hand, then I put a little bit of the loose eyeshadow into the mixture, pick it up with my brush, and the brush I'm using is just a Sigma, just the flat shader brush, and I'm just going to press that over my eyelid and kind of cut out a kind of cut crease, if you will. And once I'm happy with the opacity of the lid shade, we're going to start to blend out the edges. So I'm just taking a combination of the shades that we used to deepen out the outer crease color, and I'm just blending that along where my kind of metallic shadow finished, just so it's not like a harsh kind of stop and it fades into each other really softly. So I'm just using a combination of those shades, and then we're going to re-deepen up our lash line, and I'm just taking a mixture of Central Perk and Soda Pop. Is it called Soda Pop? Yeah, and Soda Pop. And I'm just going to stamp that along my lower lash line using a flat definer brush. Next up, I'm going to deepen up the lash line. I don't want anything too harsh, so I'm using a gel liner just with a little wing liner brush. This is again from Sigma. I'll leave it listed down below. I'm using the Sigma Wicked gel liner as well, and I'm just literally going to be stamping this along the top lash line and also in my upper waterline, so it really creates a nice black depth to the lash line and gives the lashes something to kind of sit onto. I'm not being super precise with the line because I am going to smudge it out with a little bit of the black from the Jaclyn Hill palette, just so the line is nice and soft and it's added just more kind of definition rather than being like an actual winged line or anything like that. It makes it really nice and smoky, a little bit more soft and subtle rather than this like really structured like line across the lash line. Once that is smudged out as much as I want, I am going to go in and continue to deepen up the outer corner, just again with Soda Pop and Central Perk, just to tie in the lash line and the outer corner together and add a little bit more depth and definition. The brow products that I'm using today are this is the Maybelline eyebrow pencil. I'm using the Essence Make Me Brow and also the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow gel. I did use the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in taupe on the day. For primer, I'm going in with my Estee Lauder. This is the Mattifier primer. Now for today's look, I am using a combination of two foundations, the Estee Lauder Double Wear and also the Maybelline Superstay foundation. Estee Lauder is the foundation that I did use on my wedding day. I used the shade, I think it's a 2N1 shade that I used, but I'm a lot paler in this video, so I had to mix in a bit of the Maybelline Superstay foundation. This is in a really pale shade. It's like one of the palest shades that they've got. So I had to do a combination of those two just so I got an alright kind of shade match. So I'm just going to be blending that all over my skin. I'm just blending it in with my Morphe sponge, and I'm just going to really focus on pressing it in and blending down my neck and making sure I've got the best coverage. For concealer, I'm going in with my MAC Pro Longwear concealer. This is in the shade NC20, and I'm just going to be applying that underneath my eyes. I tried to be a little bit more precise on the days where I'm using a brush. Normally everyday makeup, I just kind of pump it on the back of my hand and use my fingers to kind of pat it out, but on the day I did want to be a little bit more sparing with the product, so it didn't, not that it creases normally, but I just didn't want it to look too heavy, so I did go in with a brush on the day as well. So I'm just applying it to under my eyes, down the bridges of my nose, around the corners of my nose as well, just to make sure that that's got some coverage, because I do get some bit of redness on the sides of my nose. And I'm just going to blend everything out again using that Morphe sponge. On the day as well, I did cream contour. I'm using my Hoola Benefit bronzer kind of contour stick, and I'm just going to be applying that kind of underneath my cheekbones and around the perimeter of my face, just to add a nice warm bronzy glow, and it just kind of helped to make sure that my bronzer that I applied, my bronzer and contour, lasted a little bit longer as well. So I am going to blend that all in using the same sponge that we've been using. If I had my time again, I think I would use the, what's the brand? The Huda Beauty cream contour. I feel like this one does rub off a little bit of the coverage. I hadn't tried the Huda Beauty one prior to my wedding day, but I've since purchased it and I do think it is better. So if you are trying to recreate this one, I would suggest trying out the Huda Beauty one. I do think it's a little bit better than the Hoola one if you have oily skin. Then the life-saving miracle product of this tutorial is the setting powder. If you have oily skin, you need to get your hands on the Nakia Joy setting powder. It is absolutely bomb. It is the best powder if you have oily skin, textured skin, really need your makeup to last. This is like heaven in a powder. It really mattifies the skin, but doesn't make it look cakey. It is amazing. So I'm literally going to set my entire face using this powder because I want to make sure that my foundation lasts all day. For the lower lash line, I am just using a combination for pretty much all those browns that we used in the crease. So going in with MEFO, whatever it is, MFO or whatever it is, the one that I used at the beginning for the crease color. Then a mixture of butter and puder, and then I'm going to go in with just some of the deepening up shades that we used as well on the outer corner. I'm not bringing any of those really dark shades into the kind of lower lash line, the inner corner area. I want to make sure it's still kept quite bright, so I'm just going to really strategically place it using that flat definer brush just along the lower lash line. Now once I'm happy with the eyes, I am just going to use this large fluffy brush. This is from Morphe. It is a great blending out brush. I literally have no product on this brush whatsoever, and I am just buffing out the edges to make sure everything is super seamless and really well blended. To make sure the eyes are nice and bright, I'm going in with my Savvy Long Wear eyeliner. This is just in a nude shade, and I'm just going to run this along the lower waterline just to really open up my eyes and make everything really bright. That liner can kind of bunch up a little bit on the kind of lashes and tint them a bit of a nude kind of shade. So I just went in with the same deepening up shades on that flat definer brush just to blend that all out. Next up, we're moving on to bronzer. I'm using my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer with a large brush, and I'm just going to bronze up my skin. And then I'm going to go in with a bit of contour. This is the Kat Von D kind of like duo pack that I've got. It's an awesome little travel pack. I'm just going to use the contour shades just in the hollows of my cheek and around the perimeters of my face. And then for blush, I'm going in with a combination of smashing and beaming just on an angled brush. This one is from Morphe, and I'm just going to place that on the apples of my cheek and kind of blend up towards my temples. And then for highlight, I ended up using a combination of two highlights on the day. The first highlight that I used was Becca Opal, and then I topped it off with Becca Moonstone. Becca Opal, it's a beautiful, beautiful shade. It's just a tad too dark for me, so when I apply Moonstone over the top, it is like the perfect shade. We're applying that same combination to my inner corners and also my brow bone for highlight. Then we're going to move on to lips. So first I went in and lined my lips with Boldly Bare Lip Pencil from MAC, and then I filled that in using MAC's Velvet Teddy. I went in with Anastasia Beverly Hills in Peachy, and I'm just going over the top of that. And then because I love a glossy lip and I felt like it really tied everything in and gives a nice youthful look, I'm going in with my Rimmel Oh My Gloss lip gloss. Next up, we're going in with mascara. You can use whatever mascara that you want. I don't even think I use these mascaras on the day, but it's what I have. I basically just want anything that's not going to smudge. I didn't go waterproof. I just went with something that I knew that wasn't going to flake or kind of rub or kind of clump off or anything like that. And then for lashes, I use these lashes from Chloe Morello. They're from Eyeshadow, but I actually cannot find, I'm looking at the box right now and I cannot find a name whatsoever. So I think she only came out with a few. It's a kind of more natural one of the two I think that she brought out. It's beautiful, love it, such a good lash. Anyway, guys, this is the finished look. I was so happy with it on the day. Like I said, I had so many compliments. I felt like it was me. I felt so pretty. My husband absolutely loved this look on me. And now I'm just going to pop in a few more pictures from the wedding day so you can see kind of how it lasted throughout the evening. It lasted all night, right up until when I got home and my girlfriends had to take all my makeup off for me because I was in no state to do it myself. So yeah, the makeup definitely held true all evening, and I could not have felt more beautiful or pretty on the day. So guys, that is the finished look. I really hope you enjoyed this video and it has really helped you out if you're a bride that is getting married this year. I wish you all the best. I hope you try this makeup look out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a like before you leave. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the week and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.